This is the updated Audi Q7. It's yet another facelift. The brand is trying to keep it fresh by giving it regular updates, and that's what's happened here. Now, of course, you'll need to take a close look to know that this is a facelift. Now, starting at the front is where you'll notice the most changes on this facelift. Of course, the grille is completely different. You no longer have those vertical slats that you had on the older car. You have these individual chrome elements. They look nice and modern. You have this 2D logo for the 4 rings as well. The grille is still nice and big. Low down, you have a redesigned bumper. You have these nice vents now. You have a bit of silver surrounds for them. And of course the headlamps, a completely new look for the LED matrix headlamps. Now this here is the technology version, the top spec version. That's why you get the matrix headlamps as standard. And of course, the illumination, the brightness is absolutely top notch. Now over to the side, you won't really notice many changes. You still have the same length, the same wheelbase as well, 3000 mm. And the silhouette has of course not changed. The lines are the same. But what you'll see and notice is bigger wheels. 20-inch wheels now. 19 inches were there on the older version. They looked fine, but these look better. Fill out the arches very well and just give it a nice proportionate look. And at the rear, it's nice and subtle, typical of Audi. You have a new look for the LED tail lamps. Again, the 2D logo that you see here. The bumper is slightly different, and you also get trapezoidal exhaust tips that are nice and new. Actual exhaust tips, not really fake tips that you see on some of its rivals. So that's a nice touch. But if you're having a hard time to figure out the changes on the outside, on the inside, it is an even harder job because honestly, the layout has not really changed. What's new on this facelift is this wooden inlay on the dashboard and on the doors. Looks really nice, open pore wood, really nice to the touch and quite premium. And overall, the quality as expected is absolutely top notch. But yes, it is very familiar. We've been seeing this for years now. This dual screen layout, the digital instrument cluster, the overall, simple flat dashboard, a lot of flat panels, a lot of piano black as well, a lot of piano black on the center console. You have your basic features down here. You have your HVAC controls on this screen below. Your main controls here, still no wireless CarPlay or wireless auto. Seats are nice and comfortable. You have memory function as well. You have 3D sound now with the Bang & Olufsen sound system. 19 speaker, sounds really nice. A panoramic sunroof, of course. You have a wireless charger in here, and this is also a phone box. What that means basically is when you place your phone here, what it does is connects to the shark fin antenna on the top of the car, and what that does is give you a better signal. In terms of phone calls, it just is a better experience. However, you still miss out on some things that you now get on much cheaper cars and definitely get on its rivals. So something like ventilated seats, massaging options, those are things that you will miss on this Q7. But as far as comfort goes, as far as quality goes and build goes, it still is right up there at the top. Some quirks I like, this sun visor. Now, for tall people who end up sitting further back, you always have this bit of space here from where the sun peers through and hits your eyes. But when you have this nice extension, that solves the problem. You have another split sun visor here as well. So small things, car manufacturers have stopped doing this. I'm not really sure why. Affects the tall people, but on the Q7 you get that. So if you are going to be in the front seat for long, not going to be a place that will have you uncomfortable by the end of the drive, because the seats, as I said, are nice, very well cushioned, plenty of adjustment on offer as well. So very nice place. But of course, you have the back seat. That is the highlight on the Q7. A lot of buyers are actually chauffeur driven. So let's see what that's like. Now in the back seat, there is no dearth of space in the Q7. A 3-meter wheelbase, which means legroom is superb. Headroom is also excellent, even if you're over 6 feet. But if this room is not enough, you can obviously slide the rear seat back and get even more space. This, of course, is also there because if you want to adjust space for the third row, so you can do that. The backrest also can be reclined to a comfortable angle, and it's a really, really nice place to be. Seat comfort is also very nice. You have a good amount of support. The cushioning is nice and soft as well. You also have sun blinds for the large windows. That's definitely helpful on a hot day. You have 4-zone climate control, so individual climate control for the rear, vents in the center and vents in the pillar, so nice effective cooling. And you have a bit of a central hump as well, so middle passengers will have to compromise slightly, but if you're on the edge, then it's not going to be an issue. Very, very comfortable place. Now you don't get rear entertainment screens as standard, they are there in the options list, or you don't have any tablet or device to control the multimedia from. So basically you're on your own here, or you have to order the chauffeur. No Boss mode as well, so you don't really have functions for this seat from the rear. So there are things that are missing, but just overall space and comfort wise, this thing is superb. The panoramic sunroof, as you can see, stretches all the way to the rear, so you have a lot of light coming in, and the overall airiness is absolutely fantastic. Alright, so getting into the third row of the Q7, not too difficult. You have one touch, and then all you have to do is give it a lift. A decent amount of ingress, but of course, it's never meant for someone who's over 6 feet. So basically, once you have the middle row in place, you have to pull this lever and pull the seat behind. And of course, you are seated quite knees up, even after adjusting the middle row, which can be adjusted for length, thankfully. So you just might end up doing short runs in this with a bit of compromise for the middle row, but otherwise this thing is pretty cramped. Headroom, if you're over 6 feet, is not going to be enough, and well, it's just basically reserved for kids or shorter adults. Otherwise you're going to be pretty uncomfortable here. You don't have AC vents. You have cup holders, and that's about it. So not a lot in terms of amenities. You have this third row that can be folded down electronically. The buttons are on each side, so if you have to access the boot, it's slightly easier. All you need to do is push down on the button and the seat will fold flat. With 3 rows up, you get decent space, but with the third row folded flat, there is a lot more room. However, the Q7 does not get a spare wheel and not even a space saver. And since the tires are not run flats, you will have to be extra cautious. Now, what's always been a highlight on the Q7 is this engine, a 3-liter turbo petrol unit, but it's a V6, so it's nice and creamy, really smooth, extremely refined, and it just is a joy to drive. But what's also nice is that it has plenty of poke. 340 horsepower, 500 Newton meters, 0 to 100 in a quick 5.6 seconds. And I say quick because given the size of this car and the weight of this car, that is a quick figure. And Audi usually don't really, overestimate with their 0 to 100s. So if they are saying 5.6, it is going to be 5.6, and that's quite quick. But of course, you have drive modes as well. So in comfort, it's slightly restrained. In eco, it is very restrained. But then you have dynamic, that gives you the nice full burst of that 500 Newton meters and lets you exploit that 340 horsepower as well. As a result, it feels very quick, but at the same time, very sure-footed as well. Now I say sure-footed because in dynamic mode, the suspension is nice and pliant. The car doesn't move about too much. But when you shift it into comfort, the suspension becomes really soft. Of course, it gets adaptive air suspension, and that means comfort is on another level, especially when you're talking of broken roads and really bad patches of roads. So yes, it does wallow about a fair bit, and it nosedives as well under braking. And if you end up cornering hard, you will feel a fair bit of body roll as well, because even though you have the Quattro, you have so much weight and you have that suspension that is nice and soft. The advantage to that is these harsh bumps and our bad roads are taken care of with no fuss whatsoever. You never feel that sharp jolt or that thud inside the cabin, and that I think is better. Fine, yes, you have to compromise when it comes to the body roll, but I think taking on bumps very well is definitely better than a bit of handling. However, if you're on highway, if you don't have potholes in your way, if you're on a nice smooth section of road but you have undulations, this car will give you a fair bit of that vertical movement. That pitching on high speeds is what it does. But the way to counter that is to go into your individual drive mode, select individual, so you can keep the engine in comfort, you can keep the gearbox in sport or dynamic, and you can also keep the suspension in dynamics. So what that will do basically is keep the suspension nice and firm, so when you're on the highway it won't move about that much, and you have the engine which is nice and relaxed, you have the gearbox that is nice and relaxed, steering that is nice and light as well. So it's a bit of a cheat code. It works very well on our highways, and the moment you get out of the highway, you get onto bad roads or broken patches, you can then change the mode again. Now, apart from the standard modes, you also have an all-road mode, which basically is an off-road mode. You get 90 mm extra of suspension travel. That's a lot, gives you a nice bit of ground clearance as well. So tackling off-roads or these trails is definitely a no-brainer. Of course, you're not going to go heavy off-roading in this. And then of course we have the 8-speed automatic gearbox, nice and quick, very, very smooth. You have the paddle controls as well, which again make it better. You can engage the transmission itself into sport mode and that speeds up the response. But the Q7, it's not really a driver-centric car. It's more to relax and cruise and just chill out, go for your nice long road trips, pack the boot, and it's gonna be a superbly comfortable experience. Prices for the updated Q7 start from 88 lakh rupees and this top spec technology trim is priced at 97 lakh rupees ex-showroom. The top spec then goes up against the Mercedes-Benz GLE and the BMW X5, both of which have moved much ahead in terms of modernity. What will be of interest to the buyers then will be the lower spec model that makes for a good value proposition. The ride is comfy, space and quality is top level, and the V6 is butter smooth. It's a comfy cruiser for those who want to be chauffeured around with little fuss.